Sorry for the delay. With StreamYard, only one person can be live at one time, and Zoe went over. Good show, though. Welcome to the Friday Free For All, where we just talk about anything you want. We're going to talk about the Vikings, obviously, first. And then we'll go ahead and open up and bring everybody else on. But so let's go ahead and get this started.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pace start.
All right. So, Vikings are 5-0.
And still not getting no respect from the national media.
Especially from Lions fans.
Yeah,
calling us frauds.
You know what? I'm on one tonight. Fuck the Lions, okay? You ain't did shit in 30 motherfucking years. We're 5-0, and you're basically, once again, looking at us at the top of the division. So shit ain't changed. So
my
just
question,
shut up, Lions fans.
I got it because Lions fans are getting on me because for some reason they think it's different. Sarah and I are kind of talking about the same thing to where, Sam Darnold, he's on Pumpkin Watch. Well, Lions. So if you want to talk history, Lions fans, you guys
They only started existing like 2 years ago.
You guys had a good season. In 91, you went to the NFC Championship game. And then in 93, you went to the playoffs. So you lost in the second round. And then you made the playoffs 3 times in between that whole time.
You know what? I'm just going to put it out there. Since I've been watching this goddamn rivalry since 1971, let's put it in perspective. Lions fans, the only ones on Pumpkin Watch are your sorry asses because 9 times out of 10 you start out like a house of fire and you fade like a limp fucking dick, all right? That's how good you guys are. So I don't want to hear this shit about Sam Darnold this, Sam Darnold that. You got Jared Goff, okay? He had a good game against a really bad Seattle defense. You know what? Just shut up. Just shut up. Just stop talking. Or we'll relegate you all back to the kiddie table where you should be. Lion fans, it's like they think they're like this.
Well, they're talking unfair shit. I'm like, you have the worst defense in the division. What the fuck are you even talking about?
Just think how bad they'd really be if they didn't have Aiden Hutchinson. How bad they would really be.
He's the only one getting any kind of
That's the only one. Only one that actually scares me, really doesn't scare me, is Aiden Hutchinson.
Well, Aiden Hutchinson doesn't scare me because I looked it up earlier. He has 4 sacks all time against the Vikings.
Right.
None of them are against Darrisaw. Darrisaw was hurt the game that he had those pressures.
They usually line him up on O'Neal.
So
they won't line him up on Darrisaw for some reason.
No, they won't because Darrisaw owns him.
Right. And I don't know if they're going to line him up on O'Neal. If I was a Lions, just to be on the say, I would line him up on the inside on Ingram. You'd have more success. But that's just me.
So the Vikings and Lions have played 125 times.
Yeah, and the Vikings won 80 of them.
Exactly.
No, you guys remember, Lions fans don't like to talk about history. So they've only been a franchise since 2022.
Well, if that's the case,
half of 2022.
If that's the case, they better not bring that shit to me. They'll get a quick history lesson because they sucked for most of those years. I think I can honestly count on one hand in my lifetime how many times they've swept the Vikings in my lifetime.
I think since the Vikings have been a franchise, I think it's
they swept
either
us
4 or 5 times. That's it.
They swept us last year.
It's not very
often. It's not very often. They swept us last. Yeah, Mom, I'm watching my blood pressure. They swept us last year, I believe. Yes.
So the first year of the Vikings' existence.
Mhm.
So the first 2 years the Vikings existed. So they lost their first 4. So keep in mind, the Lions have only beat the Vikings 43 times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
4 of them were the first 2 years the Vikings were in existence.
Yep. The Vikings. Okay, the Vikings and Lions though do hold a place in history, in U.S. history. Um, the Vikings played the Lions in 1963 at Met Stadium the Sunday after JFK was assassinated. Everybody else had canceled games except the NFL. The NFL played. And that morning, I believe, was the morning that Lee Harvey Oswald got killed. That Sunday morning. And so the Vikings had the game that Sunday afternoon. They won that game too. The Vikings won.
Yeah.
And then the next year, this is on for Viking fans to look this up. Here we are talking history. Where's Zoe? The next year, the Vikings played the Lions at Met Stadium. Both teams wore their white uniforms for a quarter. And in the middle of at the end of the first quarter, the Vikings, between quarters, ended up changing their uniforms from white to purple on the sideline.
Yeah.
And that was the time they wore all purple at home. And so, it's
from 68 to 73, the Lions did not win a game against the Vikings.
Bud owned them. Bud Grant owned them.
So the Vikings only lost to the Lions 3 times in the 70s.
Yeah, 74, 75, 78.
Yes.
Yep.
And then, so they only lost through from 1969 to 19 to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings only lost to the Lions 9 times.
Yeah, and in the 80s we usually split with them.
So 79 the Vikings, so 80 and 81 they split. There was no game in 82. That was a strike year. The Vikings
they played in 82. They won in Detroit.
Yeah, the Vikings won the only one they played, but the other game, the second game was canceled.
Yep.
So they split in 83. They split in 84. They split in 85.
Split in 86.
And then the Vikings won in the next 3 years.
We swept them in 87, and I swept them in 88, and then we swept them in 89.
Yep.
We split in 90. They swept us in 91.
Yeah, the Vikings won 7 straight meetings. And then in 1990 they split. Mm-hmm. 91 was a bad year for Minnesota.
91 Detroit swept us. That's a game where Barry Sanders put up 4 touchdowns and 220 some odd yards rushing at the Metrodome.
The Lions so 1991. The Lions' first season sweep of the Vikings since 1962.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Sanders rushed for 229 yards and 4 touchdowns in the game in Minneapolis, which was the first game for the Lions after guard Mike Utley suffered a broken neck 1 week earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, Davey, we have beat them on we've shut them out on Thanksgiving twice, 27-0, 69, and 23-0 in 88, I believe. We shut them out both times.
The 95 game.
That was 44-38 Lions.
The highest scoring game ever in the history.
Yeah, that was a shootout. But we split with the Lions again.
I just find it funny that they call us frauds, but yet who have they beaten this year? Nobody. And they were all 1-score games, except for that Seattle one.
They're the only person that scares me on that Detroit offense, honestly, is Jamison Williams. And that's it. Goff does nothing for me. And I trust Flores to actually put in something to the defense that's going to throw Goff off. And it'll probably
especially this year now that he has his guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he can play the type of defense that he wants to play. So that's going to be the big difference. So they're going to come in here. Here's the thing. I say I've said this to a lot of people. Whoever wins that Minnesota-Detroit game in 2 weeks or after this week probably wins the division. And I'm picking the Vikings to win the game at home. I think they're going to have. I think they've had a wake-up call the last couple of weeks. They needed that. They needed that week off. Traveling overseas, especially, you're going to be out of sync.
Well, and it looks like Sam Darnold just didn't play the same after he got hit.
He was hurt.
Yeah,
he was hurt. Yeah, he took a good shot. And the Jets, let's be honest, the Jets are legit on defense. The defense is not the problem with the Jets. It's that idiot they got at quarterback.
Well, I picked them to beat the Bills because I don't think the Bills receivers are good enough to beat that Jets defense.
Do the Bills have receivers?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think they're good enough to beat that the Jets defense.
Yeah, the Bills. Although, Nathaniel Hackett's not calling the plays now.
Right, that's another reason.
Yep. By the way,
when they were asking Rodgers if he knew anything about Solid firing, I was like, oh, he's got that look on his face like,
he knew.
Goddamn right, I ordered the code red.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. By the way, Viking fans, we should be thanking the Denver Broncos for hiring Hackett because I'm going to tell you something right now. The Viking front office, when they interviewed Hackett, they loved him. Many in that front office wanted to hire Hackett, but the Broncos hired him instead.
The Broncos did us a solid.
They did. They really did, because there were many in that Viking front office that wanted to hire Hackett. He endeared them. I mean, they were like, they wanted to hire him right then and there. But the Broncos hired him. So we dodged a bullet there, folks. Dodged a big bullet. But yeah, I just, maybe Zimmer will help us out and actually put a beating on the Lions, but I don't think he will.
Well, the Lions can't stop the pass. The Cowboys can't stop the run. So,
wow. What other games are on at that time so I can watch them?
So I don't know what's going on, but
jeez. Well, okay, so who do you trust more? Do you trust Dak or do you trust Goff?
Neither.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Well, hell, this game could end in a tie.
Yeah.
I trust Mike McCarthy a tiny bit more than Dan Campbell, though.
I can't trust McCarthy. I don't know. He's got a lot of luck on his side, especially last week.
Just see Campbell rolling up there like, yeah, I'm going to show how big my balls are. Last time we lost, I'm going to go for it on every fourth down this time again.
He's going to do some sort of a trick play that's going to cost him. He's going to do that against the Vikings, too. I guarantee he will do that against the Vikings.
Yeah, Flores ain't playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I keep telling people is that
you were
he's
so
going to cost
worried
you guys a
about
game.
Flores not being able to trick Rodgers, and he got Rodgers good.
Right. Rodgers looks old now. Him on the sideline, he just looks old. He looks withdrawn. He looks like he'd rather be somewhere else. He really does. I don't know how the Jets.
Looks like he'd rather be in Egypt.
He'd rather be in a friggin' hut somewhere smoking weed. You look at him, he's just like, I don't know why the Jets put their Super Bowl dreams and hopes and dreams on this guy, because he's not even going to get him a division.
Yeah,
I'm like, well,
Packers
fans don't need to worry that we're gonna bring Rodgers in because we ain't signing him.
I thought the Packers fans would be the ones saying that the Vikings aren't for real.
Packers fans have come down to earth. I think they've seen
Packers fans hate us, but at the same time they respect us somewhat because we've been the only competition to them in the division.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing too I've noticed. Okay, did you see the highlights of that Packer Rams game? What the hell was Jordan Love doing in his end zone, throwing that silly ass pass?
I don't
He
know.
was
The
trying
Rams
to
should have won that
imitate
game.
Will Levis.
The Rams should have won that game.
Yeah, the Rams should have won. And that's what. And I'm going to be honest with you. After the bye for the Vikings, Detroit's probably their toughest game.
No, it is. The only way the Rams game is going to be tough is if they get back Cup. They won't, because Puka won't be back.
Right. Well, it's also a Thursday night game too, so they get the Vikings on a short week.
Yeah.
So that could benefit the Rams. But after that, what we got the Colts, then we got Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago.
Yeah, it goes Lions, Rams, Colts, Titans, Bears.
We got Jacksonville in there too.
Jacksonville. I don't know if the Bears are first or Jacksonville's first.
No, Bears are third. We go Jacksonville, Tennessee, and then we play at Chicago. And then we got a 3-game homestand with Arizona, Atlanta, and Chicago.
I'm gonna mute you guys because I'm cooking. Okay.
But the Colts are there somewhere too.
Yeah, the Colts are right after the Colts are after the Rams. Colts are after, I think. Hang on. I got the schedule right here.
I know it's either the Rams and Colts or the Rams or Jags. I think it's Rams.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. We got the Lions at home.
Right.
We go to LA.
Yep.
We got the Colts at home.
Okay.
Then a 3-game road trip, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago. Then a 3-game homestand, Arizona, Atlanta, and Chicago. Then we go to Seattle. That's very winnable. Then we got the home game with the Packers, and we end the season with the Lions.
So I am going to say this game coming up after the bye in Arizona are the 2 toughest games.
Yeah, and you don't know which Arizona
with the way Arizona's playing right now. I don't think the Packers are going to be able to stop Murray.
I think the Cardinals win on Sunday. I do. I got to be honest with you. I don't see. And now this is just looking.
Make
at
sure
the
the 90 guys. Make sure people watching hit the like and subscribe button if you
hit
haven't.
the like and subscribe. Yeah, I don't see. Only one that could be a loss or will be tough is Detroit. At the worst,
13-4.
I'm gonna say at the worst 11-6. Just you never know. They might hit a stretch there where this shit don't work. But honestly, I don't see a loss. I'm looking at.
I don't know, because we thought last year that they would, after Cousins got hurt, that they'd only win 1 or 2 games, and they ended up winning how many more after Cousins got hurt?
I think they won 2
4
or 3. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, they went 7 and what, 10?
Right.
And they
Seattle's not going to be a walk in the park, especially in Seattle. But I'm telling you,
well,
Seattle don't.
Well, they do have injuries right now. So, but their defense, I don't think, was good before the injuries.
Their defense wasn't good before. They were a different team with Russell, and now they've got, who's a quarterback? Geno.
Well, the Legion of Boom, But here's another thing about the whole Sam Darnold pumpkin watch, right? And Nick Wright is probably one of the biggest ones for this, right?
Well, Nick Wright's a friggin' friggin' Casey Dick Wright.
Why can't Sam Darnold be Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith? These guys to where, yeah, their career before that sucked, but they found the right situation and now they're good. Why can't that be Sam Darnold?
Because he's in Minnesota. If he was in anywhere else, they would be. He'd be front page news.
If Darnold gets hurt, that's the only thing that can derail the season.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, also, with Aaron Jones being week to week, that's another thing too. So,
I don't know, man. I think if
he plays against the Lions.
If he's 80%, he plays against the Lions.
Yeah, I think he plays. And I think, and my only thing now is with KLC, just because you don't have Aaron Jones, that still doesn't mean don't run the ball. Still run the ball. Was the
Yeah.
old adage? You keep adding, you might break one. You know, and it keeps that defense of yours fresh. His play calling's got to, he's kind of had some lapses a couple times the last 2 games, but for the most part, he's been good.
Sorry.
Yeah, the running back room is shaky, but they're outside of Baltimore and maybe a couple of other teams. Running backs, everybody's running game is shaky. Now I guess the 49ers running back is hurt now too. He's day to day. McCaffrey's replacement. Gaskins is technically number 2 now. They might bring in somebody. What did the Vikings do with Dwayne McBride? Did they cut him or bring him back?
I think they cut him. I don't think he's on the practice squad.
Okay. And that was one of the guys that KOC really liked.
Mike Boone was released.
Okay, Skull, what's your question, man? Yeah, it's so if you run with Chandler and yeah, that was his name. And he broke off that 71-yarder to seal it yesterday. But with the Vikings, the thing that could bring us down could be injuries. So you kind of got to stay healthy for the rest of the year.
So Aaron Jones, if the Vikings had a game this week, he would not play.
Right.
They say it's a 2-week injury. So whether or not he's ready,
is it his hip?
It just says it's his hip injury. They didn't say exactly what it is.
Okay.
I think it happened on that pass. He jumped up and caught.
Yeah, that's where I think he got hurt too.
So, but they're saying it's a 2-week injury. But I think if he's 80%, he plays against the Lions because they could beat all the teams behind the Lions without him.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, the Lions team don't scare me.
So
the Lions do not scare me.
And then because Flacco is playing good for the Colts, so that's a difference maker. But are they when Anthony Richardson gets healthy, is he gonna go step in even though Flacco's
Are you
playing
scared
good?
of AR? Have you seen that dude thrown? He is like.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If I'm more worried I'm more worried about Flacco than AR.
Yeah.
I don't know if Flacco.
But they said when they said once Richardson's healthy, he's back to being the starter.
Right. Hey, Skull State of Mind's got a question. Can you put it up? Catch. Oh, okay. Chris wore two jerseys with the Vikings. He wore the 3-stripe jerseys when he first got here, and then when they changed into the jerseys later that Randy Moss wore, that's where they put the Norseman head on the sleeves. He wore that one too, but he wore 2 different jerseys with the team. So go back to when he first got here, he's going to have the 3 stripes. So you really can't go wrong with either.
What up, Rap?
Oh, what's up, Rap? So, yeah.
Put the link out there for anybody who wants to join.
Yeah, the link is up there, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you'll probably get Richardson. How long?
I don't know what those emotes mean. I'm not a emote person or whatever they're called.
How long will Richardson stay healthy is the question.
Yeah.
Well, and Gil, that's a good question. It's not Darnold that gets flustered, believe it or not, it's KOC. He needs to just keep running the ball. Without a run game for Darnold, yeah, that's too much pressure to put on Darnold. So,
well, unless your name is like Patrick Mahomes,
right?
Yeah, you're going to need a run game.
By the way, are the Chiefs the only team that can get away with false starts now?
I don't know. The Chiefs. Some of those calls that people are complaining about against the Chiefs some of them are actually legit calls. But I don't watch enough Chiefs games to see if they offside all the time.
All I know is it's the same dude that jumped off sides every play. He should be getting a false start every play. They don't even. I mean, he jumps sometimes. They don't even call it. So I mean, it's just kind of like, what the fuck?
They're probably just tired of it that they're like, fuck it.
Well, yeah, because it's the same idiot. It's the same dude doing it every single damn play. You know, I mean, it gets really old.
Like I said, I don't watch enough to really, concentrate mostly on the Vikings, but I do watch other games, but
we're 5-0, and yet the Lions are the best team in the NFC. Even though they lost to the Bucks and they barely beat the Cardinals and the Rams.
They shouldn't have beat the Cardinals either.
Well, yeah, the funny thing is I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about the Lions, and they're like, the Lions are like the most complete team. They got the most complete roster. They're this, they're that, and
was that like, Stephen A?
But I'm like,
have you seen their defense?
But I'm like, yet they still have a loss. You guys are talking like the Lions are undefeated, So, but I don't know. We'll find out this Sunday. I mean, I think the Vikings will win, but I hope for.
Well, this sucks. I got to cheer for This sucks. I got to cheer for the Cowboys.
I don't know if they're. I don't know. That's what I was saying. That was one of the toughest games to pick because I don't like the Cowboys.
I don't either.
I don't know if their run defense is good enough to stop the Lions' running game. I know the Lions' offense is not. Lions' defense secondary is not good enough to stop the Packers' pass game.
The Cowboys got a one ball.
It's going to be hard to. It's a hard game to pick.
I think I took the Cowboys by 3. And that's only because they're home. That's the only reason I would take the Cowboys because they're at home. So, did you put the link up?
Yeah,
oh, there you did.
You got Davey in the house.
Davey, what's up?
Davey's probably too busy being drunk celebrating the Mets.
No, not really.
I believe Parsons is still out, Gil.
Are you happy that they went up to that? They went to the NLCS, or that they beat the Phillies to do it?
Both.
Yeah, it would be both. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a while. Being a Met fan is no different than being a Viking fan. We suffer and we suffer and we suffer, and just when we think we've overcome the adversity, we get disappointed again. So, but
it might be a Subway series.
Mm-hmm.
Before right before I tried coming onto the StreamYard, I think Tony, you had mentioned something about the offsides. In that first game against Baltimore, I think they had 5 straight illegal formation calls against them.
Yeah, they did.
That's stupid. I mean, that has to be the stupidest rule out there. That if the guy's like a couple of inches behind the guard, it's an illegal formation. But later on in the game, you notice that the Kansas City tackle was doing that too, and he didn't get called.
Did you watch last night's game? Because that was the penalty that took away a Seattle touchdown.
No, I couldn't.
Smith had completed a long pass, I believe, to TK Metcalf, and they called illegal formation. And then it wiped out the touchdown because it would have been like a 3-point game up until then, and it's almost like Seattle didn't recover. But yeah, it's like these refs are throwing these flags now at the weirdest times. Well, I know why they're doing it, but
I saw something a week ago. They posted something on I think it was the NFL Network, or I think I saw it on YouTube. I don't really remember, but they said since Patrick Mahomes came into the league, there were 18 pass interference instances caused by Chiefs defensive backs that were not called, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Well,
If that makes any sense.
I mean, put it this way: last year when we played them, there should have been a pass interference in the end zone not called. Atlanta should have had one this year. It's like the Chiefs are getting this preferential treatment. And
They're gonna flag their way to a three-peat.
you know what though? They're not very impressive. They are not very impressive. I think the AFC in general is kind of a weak conference this year. It doesn't look like it. There's like everybody is just average. They're just kind of milling along, including Buffalo and Baltimore
since it looks like Buffalo needed Stephon Diggs more than Stephon Diggs needed Buffalo.
No, I think the one they miss is Gabe Davis.
So
Gabe Davis is the one they miss.
They have nobody. That's why I picked the Jets to beat the Bills, because they're not going to be able to. The Vikings have the receivers to beat that Jet secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Bills don't.
Here's my thing. If you're the Jets, especially Sauce Gardner, you keep getting called for passing. If he got called how many times? 5 times?
He had 5 penalties against Justin Jefferson, 1 holding, and 4 pass interference.
And then DJ Reed got called. Was that on Jefferson too?
No, that was on Addison.
That was on Addison?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're kind of like, okay, you need to let these guys play. I mean, the penalties are cool because they're for my team, but you got to let these defenders play.
Well, they could have called more. Jets fans are mad because they think Stephon Gilmore got away with one on that last interception.
No, Stephon Gilmore was in the right place at the right time because Aaron Rodgers underthrew Williams. He underthrew him. That's bottom line. If the Jets are going to be mad at somebody, they need to be mad at friggin' Rodgers. Hell, he just cost him a head coach.
He had no idea. He did not tell them to fire Saleh. He had no idea. He was not consorted by the owner at all.
Woody apparently called him to check on his ankle only.
Yeah, right. He probably called him and asked him if he needed another dime bag.
Hey, I'm only going by what they say.
There was a reporter up there. Did you order the code red? Did you order the code red?
That was big news in New York.
Hey, did you guys see that Buffalo is converting Lewis Seen to a linebacker now?
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that, which is probably the right move.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy. Well, if he can also just get his head in a playbook and not freelance, know his responsibilities.
Yeah, supposedly that was his issue in Minnesota, that he wasn't able to grasp the playbook.
He couldn't grasp the playbook, and he would freelance.
Well, I would imagine that their
his tackling wasn't the best either.
I would imagine that their playbook is much simpler than Beeflo's.
Who? What?
Who's their defensive coordinator? It's not Leslie Frazier.
Isn't it McDermott?
No, they got
Buffalo. No, McDermott's an offensive guy.
Yeah, it was Frazier. Frazier, I think, stepped down.
No, it's McDermott. McDermott's calling the defensive plays now.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's not even a defensive guy.
Yeah, he is. McDermott's a defensive coordinator.
Sean McDermott, the head coach of the
McDermott
Bills?
is?
Yeah,
No.
y'all are high as hell. McDermott is a defensive head coach.
Who was he with before he got the head coaching gig?
I don't know.
I don't think he's an offensive coordinator.
McDermott is a defensive head coach.
Well, if he is, that could kind of explain some of his play calling, some of his decision making.
Go ahead, Google it.
He catches on it.
Bobby Babbage.
Bobby Babbage is their defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Yeah, but McDermott is a defensive head coach.
I never heard of the guy.
I've heard of a Bob Babbage that played years ago in the NFL. He was a linebacker.
He must have hired him this year then, because last year he was calling the plays.
They hired him this year most likely because Frazier stepped down last year. He was supposed. I think it was just like a hiatus. They said, but I don't think he's coming back. I think he's retired.
No, if Frazier is consulting on somebody's team.
He still's got a gig in the NFL.
Yeah, but he's a consultant.
Oh, so he's a de facto DC just in case it falls apart with the one that is the DC.
That's why Bills fans want McDermott out of there so they can get an offensive head coach for Allen.
You know what'll help Allen more is if he had some wide receivers.
Yeah, but they were hoping he would be Patrick Mahomes and carry the team with no receivers.
That ain't happening. Oh, here's a good question. Purple and gold bars. Who do you guys think is more likely to get the upset? I think he meant Mays or Rattler.
Rattler.
Who is the Patriots playing?
Houston. May will be
yeah.
lucky to just walk out of there with 206 bones.
Yeah, Rattler is probably the one who could get the victory.
Because Rattler at least has a running back and people he can throw the ball to.
Yeah, they put May out there. May has no offensive weapons at all. And that offensive line is bad.
So we're both right. McDermott wasn't an offensive coordinator, but he did do offense when he was with the Eagles.
Oh, he's from the Eagles too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, under Andy Reid. Yeah.
Andy Reid, okay.
He was Andy Reid's offensive assistant. So
Oh, he was the guy that got the coffee
but
on
most of his career is defensive coordinator. So
okay. All right.
Weird.
yeah.
So he actually knows both sides of the ball.
Allegedly.
Yep.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't think they have the receivers to beat the Jets defense. So it's
Yeah, but you can run on the Jets. But they don't have a running back.
they don't have a running game. Well, they don't
have a running game
They
either.
got Cook, but yeah, their offensive lineman. I don't know. They don't. I don't know if
No,
he can
Cook
run.
is
on the
out
Jets.
for a day.
Is Cook out for this game?
Uh-huh.
So
So they're asked out.
Yeah.
I picked the Jets to win, but with them firing their head coach,
That boost,
Hackett
'cause
not calling the plays.
teams always get that boost of when they fire their head coach. But they can kiss this season goodbye. If they think that they're going to the Super Bowl with the interim head coach, there's a reason why interim head coaches don't go to Super Bowls.
They're not even going to the wild card. They'll be lucky to get
What,
5.
you mean like just Saturday?
Yep. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
it's pretty much a lost season for them.
Not all. Some teams do keep the interim head coach. Like the Raiders, they kept their head coach was the interim head coach.
Because I really don't think nobody else wanted that job.
The Dolphins did not keep Dan Campbell, right? They let him go after he was interim.
They let him go. Yeah. They didn't keep Cam. Matter of fact, they went and got McDaniel.
Wasn't Dan Campbell the interim head coach for the Jets too?
He might have been. I don't know. The Jets have had so many interim coaches, it's hard to keep track.
True.
They've had way too many interims.
The Vikings had what, 2? And they both became head coaches?
Leslie Frazier?
Frazier and Tice.
And Tice, and they both became the head
They
coach.
both became
after.
head coaches.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, though? Frazier never got the interim tag.
Wasn't he the head coach when Tice got fired, though?
Yeah, but he wasn't the interim. He wasn't interim. He was the guy. because the problem with Frazier was up for a head coaching job after the season. He was in high demand, and when they got rid of Childress, they just flat out gave the job to Frazier.
He was on the 85 Bears, right?
Yeah, he got hurt in the Super Bowl. Tore up his knee in the Super Bowl. That was the last game he ever played.
So other than Steckel, that Tice hire is probably the second worst hire.
Well, Steckel was basically because Bud didn't get the contract he wanted. He wanted an extension, and Mike Lynn was being a jerk.
Should have given the job to Pete Carroll.
Actually, they didn't even have Carroll on the rod. They had Jerry Burns was there. Burns should have had it in '84 in the first place, but I think Bud set that up. That was Bud giving a finger to Mike Lynn and saying you can't win without me, and he was right. You had to get Bud back though, because after the season was over, Jerry Burns had already made a decision to go to Cleveland with Marty Schottenheimer. He was leaving Minnesota. So
I think Stefanski's getting fired this year.
Stefanski's good as gone, and it's not his fault. They stuck him with.
I would, if I were him, I would want to leave too, so I can go get a head coaching job on a real team.
Definitely taking one for the team, because you know Stan Stefanski wants to bench Watson so bad, but the owner's like, I gave him $230 million guaranteed. He's playing.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's where the head coach gets screwed. See, that's where Zimmer said, when you sign those quarterbacks like that, the only ones that it'll cost people their jobs. Watson is going to cost Stefanski his job, and unfortunately, in Jacksonville, Lawrence is going to cost Peterson his job too.
Well, and it looks like Stefanski didn't really want Watson to begin with, though.
No, it was a front office decision.
Yeah,
those are the decisions that will cost you players and cost you coaches. And too many front offices have done that. Hell, we did it for 6 years. You know.
Yep, and look at Baker. He's like, they could have just kept him.
They were better off with Baker.
Yeah.
They were better off with Baker. They would have had to pay Baker, but guess what? Baker's yours. If you had put those same weapons that Watson has around Baker would have been successful.
Yeah, but they wanted an adult in the room.
Please. They want an adult in the room, then maybe get rid of the front office, because those were the biggest babies in there. Shit.
So we talked about this before the show started backstage. What do you guys think about the rule change that disallows Sam Darnold to win comeback player of the year?
I think it's fine, because comeback of the year should really be for people who came back from an injury.
That's technically what it should be. Come back from an injury. Did Randall Cunningham get it?
Yeah, 98. Got the MVP and comeback player.
Huh. And he just was
announced. He got the was it the Miller Lite player of the year. He didn't get the AP player of the year.
He got Miller Lite. Okay.
I think Terrell Davis got the AP player of the year, 98. But yeah, he got comeback player of the year.
Okay. You know what?
They need to make a new award. Bust to MVP of the year.
I think Dable's gone. I think both New York teams will be looking for. They're going to be looking for head coaches at the end.
I don't know if the Giants win Sunday. They're in second place.
Yeah, the Giants are still alive. That division is.
Wait, the Giants are in second place in the East?
If they win.
Oh, they're playing Cincinnati.
They'll all be 3-3 except for the Commanders or 4.
Okay,
whatever.
now here's the one who should be on the bubble. The coach in Cincinnati. What is his name? Zach Taylor?
Yeah,
He should be on the bubble.
Cincinnati fans do not like him.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, but I mean, it's his defense that can't stop a nosebleed.
But he's not a defensive coordinator, though.
He's the offensive guy, and the offense ain't doing shit either.
Well,
You know.
no, they are putting on points though, but the defense can't stop a nosebleed.
That's why I picked Cincinnati.
They
That's
got
why I
your
picked the
shootout
Giants. That's why I picked the Giants to win because of Cincinnati's defense is so bad.
They were in a shootout with the Chiefs and with the Ravens, and they lost because of their defense.
That defense is horrible.
Because Burrow played out of his mind.
Yeah, that defense is horrible.
They probably have the best, if not the best. They have probably have the worst, if not the worst, defense
31
in the NFL. So
Well, and also, Chase has turned into a diva.
He's always been.
He's really one now. He
Yeah.
has turned into a diva.
Because he's trying to get paid this year. He wants the ball every throw.
Yeah, and you know what? You see what happens when you throw the ball to one receiver all the time? We did that crap Sunday. They were literally forcing the ball into JJ. You know. And then when he had the chance to hit Addison, he missed Addison by a couple of yards. That was Darnold's worst game so far.
I think it was from his injury though, because it was like raining and the ball was slippery too, and then he got injured too, so he wasn't accurate either.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'm also gonna say jet lag.
he definitely had his ribs hurt that game.
Yeah, he did.
But it's funny like how all quarterbacks can have a bad game, but as soon as Sam Darnold has a bad game, here we go.
Oh yeah.
The Jets have the Jets have a top 3 defense in the NFL.
But oh my God, Kirk Cousins last week was the second coming of Johnny Unitas. I mean, come on. The national media's got so much bias, it's not even funny.
Yeah. You guys think the Vikings will do anything trade-wise?
Nope.
I don't think so either. I don't think they have any.
They don't have the collateral. They don't have the draft collateral.
Unless they give up the first, but I don't think they're going to give up.
Unless it's for a player, maybe 2 players. I don't
like
see
someone was saying they give up a first or 5th round pick next year for either Lawrence for the Giants or Jeffrey
Simmons.
But I don't think I don't think the Giants are going to trade Lawrence because they're in the battle for the division.
No, they're going to have to pay him next year.
Tennessee's season's pretty much over, but
No, didn't they just extend Lawrence? I swear they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you're right, Sarah. They did. Yeah, they did. So basically, if you trade for Lawrence, you're going to get that contract.
well, Simmons has got a better contract.
Isn't Simmons like 30 though?
Is he as good as Dexter Lawrence? No. But he's better, than
I don't think he's worth a first round pick though.
No, he's not.
He's not. The difference is
Dexter Lawrence is worth a first round pick.
The difference is Dexter Lawrence plays nose tackle. He's a true nose tackle. Simmons is playing defensive end.
And Simmons gets pressure on the quarterback, whereas Dexter is more of a run stopper, and they need help with although they are only allowing 67 yards a game on the ground.
Who's that?
The Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you shake up what you've got going in that locker room now? I don't think so. The Vikings also let Redmond go. They'll probably bring him back to the practice squad, but you bring up Rodriguez now. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that Rodriguez in the middle.
Rodriguez is bigger, so
yeah. Maybe he's ready to contribute. The one that's really impressed me is Harrison Phillips. He's really impressed me this year. Him and Tillery both. Tillery's actually played very well on that.
Maybe he'll get an extension.
Who's that?
Tillery.
He could. He only signed a year deal, and I think it was veterans minimum.
Yeah, everybody only signed the.
I think most of that defense is like 1 or 2 years.
Well, Gilmore's on a 1-year deal. Excuse
Griffin
me.
is on a 1 year.
Great, yeah,
Griffin's
Griffin.
1 year, isn't he?
Shaq Griffin's
Murphy's
1
is
year.
up.
His Bynum is up, but they're probably going to re-sign him.
All our corners are up.
Then Ginkgo
Yeah,
got
Bauer, Murphy,
right.
Grinko was 3-year.
He got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Coulier Hill is what, a year?
Yeah, but Grenard's 3 years, I think, as well.
Bernard is 3 years. Yeah. Harrison Phillips just signed a 2-year extension.
Yep.
Bullard, I think, is 1 more year.
Then
Pat Jones is up.
Oh yeah, Pat Jones is up too.
well, he's playing for his contract. I don't think
He's
he
paying for a
resigns.
contract. Yeah, he's playing for a contract.
I don't think he resigns.
You think Jones is gone?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Vikings are gonna because they got Turner.
Yeah, Turner did make a key play last week too. He
on
stopped
the 4th down.
on the 4th down. That was Turner. Yeah.
So
I think they're just slowly easing him in because they don't really need him yet.
yeah, with the way the defense is playing right now, they don't need Turner.
No, you can integrate Turner in certain plays. You don't need him out there all the time. And plus, he got hurt. So
Yeah, so I think Jones is gone. Turner replaces him. I don't know if they because I know the cornerbacks are only 1-year deals, but let's just say all the corners walk. I think Blackman is really the only guy under contract.
Yeah.
yeah, because Blackman's under his rookie contract, and he was going to
Yeah.
be a starter this year.
So they're going to have to either re-sign some of the corners, like Brian Murphy. Do they re-sign him? Do they re-sign Griffin? Do they re-sign Gilmore?
Well, they kept Akila Bevins.
Yeah, but I
That
don't think
dude
he.
is a bum.
That's his last.
That just looks like a liability to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully they
Oh,
could
and
trade.
what is up with
Hopefully
our
they could
special
package him
teams,
and Jay
man?
Ward in a
Our
trade.
special team sucks ass. Like, what the hell happened?
Do they need sandwiches for the locker room? Maybe they could trade Jay Ward and Caleb Evans for a Jimmy John's contract, or have another team pay for the sandwiches or something.
you should be able to get a
Another-
6 for each one of them. Shit.
Bring in a
These
sandwich
shits.
vending machine.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh, guess where Jaquelin Roy went?
who signed him?
Patriots.
Poor kid.
I'm just at least he was able to find another job. That's good.
Poor kid. God.
It's pretty. Yeah.
It's good to have a job, but it's you kind of wonder what couldn't they grasp with this defense, and then they go to the Patriots. Maybe got caught up in the numbers.
Well, Brian Flores' defense, maybe not so much the defensive lineman, but the linebackers and the corners, they pretty much have to know what each other is doing,
Yeah,
But this defense right now has a hive mind. I think that's why they're so good.
and I think what Brian Flores has done, actually, he's kind of got the blueprint now to stop these offenses in the NFL.
But I just want to know why people think that what Brian Flores is doing on defensive isn't sustainable.
Because of last year.
But what each year is 1 year, a year of its own.
I know
just wait till
I know
next year
that,
when
and
he
you
has,
know that, but the national media's got to find a talking point.
Just wait till next year when he has corners.
Who, Flores?
Yeah, because I'm sure they're gonna sign. If there's corners, they're probably gonna sign young corners.
Do you really think Flores is going to be here, though?
Yep.
I think he's gone.
You
I think
the coach is going to bite? You think an organization is going to bite the bullet?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think he's I think he's gonna be here.
I think the lawsuit, they'll probably work that out before he even takes a job.
Well, the NFL lost a decision against Gruden.
They did. Did you see that? They lost.
So-
Gruden won a decision. That
Yeah.
doesn't bode well for the NFL. And guess what?
So basically, what's going on with that is that Gruden and his people want his case. What's up, Abrizi? Want his case to
Oh, hey,
go
Abrizi.
in front of a jury in the legal court process. The NFL wants to keep it.
They
in
want an
arbitration.
Yeah.
And when the NFL arbitrates stuff, it's either the commissioner or someone
It's the commissioner.
picks.
Yeah.
So basically, John Gruden's going to be screwed if he goes to the arbitration because
He'll lose.
Right.
He'll lose.
Another reason is I think John Gruden really wants to know who released the information, because I guess from what the story is going is that when they were doing it was a probe into the organization of the Washington franchise.
Yeah.
And the owner, and they found these emails as they were doing the probe.
Yeah.
So, and they were doing the probe way before the season started. So basically, they want to, because basically by them releasing the emails, it ruined the season for the Raiders because their coach had to resign, plus the implications around the league for the Raiders. So it screwed up the league by them releasing during the season. So they want to know if it was just a personal vendetta against Gruden, because if it was, then that's better for him, and he definitely,
well, you know what else could come out too?
We're not excusing what he did, but you still, but it's like, yeah, well, let's just say someone killed somebody, but they got the evidence of the murder weapon by illegal means or didn't follow the correct process. Even though that person's guilty of doing what they did, they still got rights. So basically, if his rights were violated, which it seems to be that they were, is the reason why it looks like he won the decision that he won.
Well, here's what it really does. It's going to shine a light on the NFL and how much they covered up for Daniel Snyder and the Washington franchise, because they covered up everything with that organization when Snyder was there. They covered up everything from the illicit pictures of the cheerleaders to Snyder basically sexual harassment in the office place. They covered up a lot of it. And so by this, if it goes in front of a jury, they can bring that all into evidence.
Right. And so basically what happened was the Supreme Court of Vegas, there's 7 of them, but only 3 usually hear a case.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 hear the case, 2 what happened in this case was 2 of them said, yes, they sided with the NFL. And then the only one of them sided with John Gruden. So
wait, I'm confused though, because why? What does it have anything to do with him though? Because he's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Nevada Supreme Court.
Nevada Supreme Court.
Yeah, but what does that have anything to do with the Commanders?
Well, the situation, because he was a head coach of the Raiders when he was fired. That's why.
But he sent the letter. He was sent those emails to, I forget, who was it in the Commanders he sent it to?
I can't remember. I think it was a GM.
The GM.
Oh, okay.
The GM. And then as they're doing this investigation on the Commanders,
okay,
they found
I was
Gruden's
like,
email.
what does that have anything to do with the Commanders? Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But the only one that paid any type of price for those emails was Gruden, who wasn't even part of the investigation.
Yeah.
But what they did was they made him the fall guy, the patsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was really confusing. Like, why is he even in this case? It doesn't make sense.
Well, also the NFL, for some reason, I don't know what it was with Goodell and the owners, but they were literally scared of Daniel Snyder.
So he must have something.
Well, and remember, before Snyder gave up the team, he threatened to expose all the owners, but the ones he was going to really expose was Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft. He was going to expose them. and then he finally gave up the team. But yeah, he was being a real jerk on his way out.
Yeah. So basically, what's happening is there's seven justices on Nevada's Supreme Court. 3 of them hear a case at a time. So basically, if 2 to 3 agree, but you as a defendant don't agree with it, you can appeal to have all 7 hear it. So that's what John Gruden won today, was all 7 justices being able to hear his case.
Yeah, they're going to hear it, and that now whatever they hear and whatever they decide, I think that's it.
Yeah, but basically what they decide is it goes to arbitration or it gets a jury trial. That's all that's left.
And when we say that, with the whole thing with Gruden now, also affects Brian Flores in that whole scenario. And it's already a black eye. The whole Brian Flores thing is already a black eye because of Tua and what has happened to Tua. So I don't think the NFL wants that other. They got one eye blackened already. They don't want the other one blackened. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did work out something with Flores that allows Flores to become a NFL head coach. He should be an NFL head coach. I would love to keep him with the Vikings, but he deserves another shot.
You gotta let the bird fly.
Yeah, he deserves another shot.
Well, if it doesn't work out, I'm sure he can come back.
Well, if it doesn't work out, I mean, if there's no takers this year in the offseason, he probably gets an extension of some sort. He might get an extension before the season's over.
Well, and like I said to you the other day, who's to say Flores even wants a head coaching job too?
I think for redemption purposes.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he's just going to go to any any team either. It's his second time around, so he's gonna be choosy about the team
I bet. Go to because,
I mean, because he had a second interview with the Cardinals, and instead he chose us.
I wouldn't want to coach the Cardinals either.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, just because head coaching jobs open doesn't mean he's gonna take it either. Because it would have to depend on the organization too.
Well, yeah, that has a lot to do with it too. But I think for him, I mean, I'll tell you what, with that Jets job open, he might be ballsy enough to take that gig. He's already got a defense, and he would have 2 shots at the Dolphins each year, especially Tua.
What other team would be out there? Would the Raiders fire who they have now for him?
No, they're going to keep Pierce. They'll keep Pierce maybe another year.
No, but usually teams if they went defense, then they're going to go the opposite way and go offense.
Cleveland is a possibility.
He ain't going to Cleveland. Hell no.
Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati he might go to because that defense, there's no defense.
He could build that defense the way he wants to.
Yeah.
He's already got the offense. If he's got the offense, he can worry about the defense.
So
Jacksonville. He could go back to Florida.
So again, let's see. So there's probably no team in the AFC West.
No, those jobs are all pretty safe.
So NFC North, Bengals, Browns. AFC East, the Jets. I don't know if anybody wants that job. I mean, it's an NFL job, so someone will take it. There's only 32 of them.
They'll throw the bag at him. He's going to get paid.
The Cowboys.
But do you want to deal with Aaron Rodgers? I wouldn't.
If the Cowboys
probably gone. Aaron's probably gone.
If the Cowboys get rid of McCarthy, maybe
I would not want Dallas.
Washington,
now Jerry Jones over my shoulder.
Philadelphia.
It's Philly.
Seems that all the large market teams are all nightmares to coach.
Yeah, it's Philly. That's why I think he could be going to Jacksonville.
Chicago.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that Bear job could be open at the end of the year.
Chicago's hiring offense for their
That I
quarterback.
do. Ah, God, that would scare the hell out of me if he went to Chicago.
It would me too.
He's not going to Chicago. Chicago's going to hire an offensive head coach for their quarterback.
I think Johnson might go to Chicago.
I don't see how Johnson gets a damn head coaching job.
The Lions OC?
Yeah, he's not that good.
Everybody thinks he walks on water.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, let me ask you something, guys. What would it do to Caleb Williams's progression as a player if the Bears were to fire their coach again? I mean, how many times have the Bears done this over the years?
That's why I said it made no freaking sense for them not
It
to
makes
get
no
rid of
sense to
Eberflus.
fire their coach. It would retard his progression as a player. We'd have to start over, learn a new system. I mean, that's why Chicago is
I'm all for
QB
it.
purgatory.
I'm cool with it. It's Chicago. I don't care. They're in my division.
But Eberflus, because I think here's the reason why. Because before the season, people were picking Chicago to win the division. Chicago has all these weapons. Chicago is going to be one of the best teams in the NFC.
Plus, they play a fourth place schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they miss the playoffs, I can see them getting rid of Eberflus. I think they will miss the playoffs.
But ain't
I
that
think
a
they missed
problem?
the playoffs. But I think the problem is going to be Caleb. Is going to be the problem. I mean, they're already like back on we're going to the Super Bowl because they beat Carolina. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I don't get. Is like, we're the only 5-0 team that has actually played freaking contenders besides the Chiefs.
Our beginning of the season was supposed to be a meat grinder, and we waltzed through it. Especially, and we handled the Niners and the Texans, both the media darlings. We beat Green Bay and we beat the Jets. I mean, those teams were supposed to kick our asses.
It doesn't matter. We still get no respect.
No, you were supposed to be 1-4 or 0-5.
Yeah. If we were going to win any game, it might have been the Giants.
Well, we've already exceeded some people's win total. Some people thought the Vikings only win 3 or 4 games.
Oh, there was a lot of 5-12s, 4-13s. So we've already succeeded. I said 7-10, but I figured McCarthy would be playing by now. Quite a surprise. But I mean, it's like national media, and that's just with every Minnesota team. They give no Minnesota teams any props. Hell, it killed them to freaking give the Lynx props for winning game 1 of the damn WNBA finals.
And they're proven winners.
I trust to win us.
And they're proven winners.
And they're proven winners, and they still don't get any props.
They're the only team in Minnesota I trust to win a championship. That's sad to say, but it's true.
And the Twins are being sold.
Yeah, about time. Well, you know what? Don't be surprised if Lori and A-Rod are in on that too.
They've only had 2 owners the whole time they've been a franchise.
Yeah, the Griffiths and the Pohlads.
Yeah.
A-Rod ain't got that kind of money.
No, but the guy he's attached himself to does.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. His the one that's got the money is in New York.
Lori?
Yeah.
No, the other guy. There's another big wig behind them.
Oh, Bloomberg.
Yep.
Yeah, Bloomberg. That's right.
Bloomberg. Yep.
But you got was it the Cargill?
There's a Cargill in there too.
They have the most money of any Minnesota person. They're worth $33 billion.
And I'll keep this in mind too. Lori and A-Rod are going to court over the whole Timberwolf thing. Timberwolves.
Yeah, they have a
and the Lynx, because don't they own the Lynx too?
Yeah, the Lynx and the Timberwolves are combined.
They have a thing coming up. I think it's next week.
Yeah. Yeah, because Glenn Taylor backed out of selling it all of a sudden. And they said they had an ironclad agreement. And Glenn Taylor's like, no, we didn't. So,
Yeah, I think they tried to change how much they were going to pay for it. Clint Taylor's like, nope.
oh, they tried to talk him
Yeah.
down.
I think something with the price changed. I think that's why.
I hope Glenn Taylor put something in there that if you buy the team, you can't move it.
Well, that's what people are saying for the Twins is that's the one thing that they're hoping that the poll ads put in there is that you can't move the team once you buy them.
Well, they got that
I
stadium.
don't think the MLB would let them.
No,
because the MLB's talking about expansion. You know damn well the owners want that expansion money,
yeah,
not as opposed to a team moving.
not a relocated team.
Right.
Yep, not a relocated.
It's funny because the Twins were supposed to be contracted back in 2001. The MLB was going to pay them $250 million at the time. The Twins are now worth like 1.4 billion or something like that.
Well, the Twins were gonna move him. The Polad was gonna move him to Carolina in the 90s.
Because people are talking about, oh, they're going to move to Nashville. Well, that's going to be an expansion franchise.
Yeah. Oh,
$2 billion.
Nashville wants a baseball team, huh?
Yep.
How many baseball teams are there? 30?
There's 30. 30 basketball teams, 30 baseball teams.
32 football.
And I think hockey's at 32.
Hockey's at 32 with Seattle.
With the expansion with Vegas and Seattle.
Right.
32. I think 34 is where basketball, baseball, and hockey want to be at. For the NFL, they would have to add at least 4 more teams just to make it feasible.
They have more than that.
No, they would need 8 teams.
Well, I mean, technically 8 teams for each conference, but if they were just going to expand, they could do 2 and 2 in each.
I don't think they'll expand. Once they go to 18 games, I think they're done expanding.
Yeah, I think the 32 teams you have in the NFL now are the 32 teams that are going to be.
Yeah, and if I think it's going to be where if one wants to expand, then another city is going to lose their team.
Well, I think what'll happen is now that you've got teams in Vegas, you're not going to see any expansion because guess what? Once you get in Vegas, there's the gambling money. You're set.
Well, hell, it's hard to find 32 starting quarterbacks now. If they expand by 8 teams, how bad's the quarterback play going to be?
Oh God, yeah. You'll get a bunch of Canadian quarterbacks coming down here. I mean, remember McLeod Bethel Thompson? He was starting in Canada. For Edmonton.
The only way I could see 8 more teams coming to the NFL is if they're all in Europe.
Just the travel though. I mean,
it wouldn't be worth it.
It's not.
They said that if you would do like 3 road games in a row all in Europe is pretty much what they said.
It still wouldn't be worth it.
Still wouldn't be worth it. The
NFL wants that money, man.
Okay, the NFL. You had the game in Brazil. It sucked.
Oh no! If they expanded to Europe, it would be Germany.
Germany, Netherlands, probably Denmark.
Like it'd probably be like Berlin. It'd be like Frankfurt. It'd be London. Barcelona. Places like that.
The teams you had before.
Yeah.
When you had your European League.
They haven't expanded into France, huh? Well, I mean, we haven't had a game in France at all.
I don't know if it's as big there.
No, it's not. Here's the thing.
I think they would play in Italy before they played in France.
You know what the NFL is doing is Europe is mostly soccer, their version of football. The NFL is trying to cut into that. It's like you can't force it down their throat. Even if football is in the Olympics, you can't force it down their throats.
And soccer has been there for centuries.
Centuries, yeah. I mean, it's like I'm surprised they put flag football in the Olympics. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, you're not going to get that initiative. It's Europe. Leave it alone. Have games in the States. Maybe have a game in Canada. It's like.
Man, I don't mind one game in Europe, like London, whatever. But having all these games in Europe, I don't know. It just seems like it messes up.
It's overkill.
The games are never good anyway.
No, and it's the same team that goes every year, Jacksonville, because he wants to move them over there. But guess what? Jacksonville's going to build him a new stadium.
Yep.
So
that's
good luck
fine.
moving it. You're going to have to sell it. But he's got money up the wazoo, so he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Good night, Mom.
Didn't even know you're still here, Mom. Good night.
But yeah, he's not going to. But you can tell everything now is a money grab for the NFL, and it's kind of bad. It's just obvious.
Who was the commissioner before Goodell?
Tagliabue. Paul Tagliabue. And before Tagliabue, it was Rozelle.
Yeah.
Did they retire or die or something?
Rozelle retired. I think Tagliabue did too.
Yeah. No, none of them died in office. Or
none of them died. The only one that died in office was Burt Bell.
The baseball commissioner.
58 or 59. He had a heart attack. He was at a game, I think an Eagles game, and he had a heart attack, and he passed away. But yeah, the NFL's had, they've, as far as like commissioners go, they had Pete Rozelle for 20 plus years. They had Tagliabue for, I don't think Tagliabue was even 15, was he? No, he was.
Yeah, he's been there the last ones have all been there for a while.
Yeah, Goodell. I don't even know how Goodell got the gig. Somebody said Goodell was like Tagliabue's chauffeur. But he's just a figurehead. The ones running the league are the owners.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, owners have always ran the league. That's why. And the whole Rozelle and Al Davis thing was that start. The first strike started a lot, and then
I wonder who's going to buy the Twins.
I don't know if there's anybody locally that will.
Well, they went over that, and it's probably not going to be someone local.
It'll be an out of town.
But I don't care where they're from, as long as they keep the team in the city, and they pay to win.
Why not Glenn Taylor?
Taylor's done. He's not gonna. I think he wanted to buy the Twins at one time.
Well, they were talking about the Wilfs, but the Wilfs already own like 3 teams.
Yeah, they own the Vikings. They own a soccer team in Atlanta.
Right. See, I don't know. No, they own Orlando. The other purple team, the purple team. Hubbard. They own the purple team in.
That's right, in Orlando.
Yeah, the other purple team. So every team they own is purple. I can't remember the other. They own something else, so I can't remember what it is. But they definitely have the money to buy the Twins. But I know Ziggy's getting old. But
Ziggy's up there. Matter of fact, he's not really part of the day-to-day operations, and he lets Mark run it. Mark Wolf.
Yeah. So
the funny thing about it is they never built a house here in the Twin Cities.
I think
he's
Mark
never lived in the Twin Cities. Mark does. Ziggy doesn't. But see, here's the thing with Mark. Mark can stay at the hotel.
Yeah. But they're talking about the guy who finished second for buying Baltimore, the Orioles.
Oh, he's got a lot of money.
So they were talking about him maybe buying the Twins.
Right. And he would
the only thing the Twins don't have is a TV deal.
That he do.
With the MLB network.
Yeah, they got one with
but so maybe if someone owns like their own network or because the TV deal is because they have a new the stadium is one of the best in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have. But like I said, they went from Bally Sports North to MLB broadcasting their games.
Isn't Bally supposed to be going out of business or some shit like that?
No, they filed bankruptcy, but they're not going out of business.
Oh, jeez.
How can you be out of bankruptcy? You don't even do shit but air games.
Well, basically, you pay the teams to air their games.
They probably didn't, and they probably didn't get enough sponsorship money. And when viewership's down, because there was a lot of cable companies that didn't carry Bally's.
Yeah.
Only reason I got the games is because I got a streaming service where I can get all the games. But like on cable TV, you didn't see the Twins.
And like they don't have their own,
They don't have their own network like the Yankees.
like the Mets and the Yankees. They have their own network. The Red Sox and the Orioles, they all have like their own network.
Hey guys, be right back.
Okay.
So that's why they have all that money. So the Bally Sports North was paying the Twins $50 million a year, and they lost that $50 million a year. So I don't know, where they're going to get that money from. The new owners got to worry about that as well. So
that seems low. 250 million.
Well, for a team like the Yankees or something like that, yeah, it is low. But because there are teams that are getting 130, 140 million from their TV deals.
But then baseball is boring as hell.
Oh man, I like baseball. Maybe that's because I'm just older. I don't know.
I don't know. It's like, to me, it's so freaking boring. I'm just like, oh my lord.
It seems better since they implemented the pitch clock, and so that's obviously made it better. So what up, Lefty?
Faster at least.
Yeah, because you would have pitchers that would literally take like 2 minutes in between pitches, and then you would have the other rule. I didn't like it when it first came out, but I like it now. Was having to face at least 3 batters, so you no longer get the lefty coming in face just the lefty, then make another bullpen change. The pitch. So that. So some of the stuff they're doing is okay. The bigger bases has made it so you can steal more. But yeah, if you're not into baseball, I can see why you find it boring. But the Twins are the last team to win a championship at the Big Four, though. So
What's
I don't know.
the four?
Baseball, football, hockey, and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So the Twins are the last one to win that. So
Yeah, the guy sports.
no one cares about the WNBA National League.
I only trust the Lynx. I don't trust nobody else in our state.
Well, people are mad that the Lynx beat the.
Oh, they're salty in New York.
Yeah.
They're literally salty. It's kind of funny looking at what's his name sitting courtside looking dejected. Spike Lee.
The Lynx is the only team that's a dynasty here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I guess they're the ones that make it valuable, I guess.
That's why I said they're the only team I trust to win us a championship.
Well, they're getting ready to do it again, so they got to win what? 2 more games?
Yeah, just 2.
Oh, it's just best of 3?
It's best of 5.
Oh, best of 5. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Best of 5.
And they've already won 1, so.
So tomorrow night it's in Minnesota or in New York?
New York.
I think was it 2-3-2?
2-2-1.
2-2-1, right?
Yeah, 2-2-1.
Oh, so they do the old 2-2-1. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2-2-1.
But hey, if they win though, they have a chance to clinch at home.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Yeah, and they beat the Liberty like 3 times during the regular season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they own the Liberty.
So, Davey, did you want to face the Dodgers or the Padres?
Well, the Mets didn't do very well against either one of them during the regular season. In 7 games against the Padres, they only won 1. Against the Dodgers, they won 2. But if Shohei Ohtani plays the way he plays tonight, he went hitless, and he was just like swinging at everything. I think the Mets have. I think the Mets are a team of destiny right now. You know, if you know what they could throw, it doesn't matter if they throw you Darvish at him or what the hell's that guy's name, Yamamoto. If they could string him out for like 6-7 innings and then get to their middle and late relief, that's when the Mets are the most effective. So they could just yeah.
They held the Padres to 24 straight scoreless innings.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the Padres offense ranks next to the Mets. Because I know Tatis Jr. is pretty damn good.
Well, the Mets have scored more runs than any of the teams in the playoffs.
They scored more runs in the playoffs, or is that a regular season stat? Because
no, in the playoffs, they're the highest scoring team in the playoffs. As a matter of fact, after starting off 0-5 or something, whatever it is, being 11 games under 500 from the middle of late May, early June, they had the best record in baseball. They were the hottest team, so we'll see.
What do you guys think of Bronny?
Of who?
If he wasn't
Bronny.
LeBron James' son, he would never have been drafted.
That dude fucking sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Is he that bad?
Yes, he's pretty. Yeah, he's bad.
Really?
What up, George?
What's funny is the only team he was able to put up 2 points on was the Timberwolves. And it was like last second, like the game was like already over because we were like up by 20.
Yeah, they made a big.
God.
They made a big deal about LeBron and his son being on the court at the same time.
Yeah, they did. It was all over.
It's only going to happen in preseason because he sucks. He's not going to play any regular season games.
Yeah, it was all over Twitter.
Well, and what's sad is his contract is guaranteed 4 years.
Whose? Bronny's?
Yeah.
Who the hell cared? The Lakers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him a 4 year.
Yeah, because the Lakers have turned into LeBron James's little bitch. LeBron James is running that team.
God, that's sad. Jesus.
What gives me satisfaction is knowing that every day he has to go to the stadium and see statues of Kobe all over.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he asked for them to be removed. Don't you guys know I'm the best ever? Well, first of all, no, you ain't. Not even close to being the best
Hell
ever.
no, like real Lakers fans want him out.
Well, he just, I mean,
he's held their team hostage for like the last 4 or 5 years, however long he's been there.
Yeah.
Made them trade away all their players.
yeah, that's LA for you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I have never been a huge LeBron James fan. I think he's too much of a whiner.
He's a ring chaser. I have no respect for him.
Yeah, that he is. That he is. I mean, I don't blame him for the whole Miami thing, but when ESPN made a big deal about it, that turned me off to him. I'm like, who the hell is he that he gets this sort of publicity? You know,
Yeah.
that just turned me off to him.
Yeah, it's people comparing him to Jordan is crazy.
There's no comparison.
What turned me off about him was when he was watching a video of himself playing and he made a shot and he was like, "That right there made me the GOAT." Oh, that turned me off. I'm like, if you have to crown yourself the GOAT, you ain't the fucking GOAT. And how are you the fucking GOAT when you have lost 60% of your championship appearances? You can't be the fucking GOAT if you're a loser.
What was Jordan's win percentage in finals?
6 for 6.
6 for 6. 100%.
Just checking.
Yep.
Jordan has never
Wasn't Kobe like 80% as well?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
Hell, Steph Curry's got a better fucking championship win percentage than LeBron James.
Yep. That's why I said you cannot be the GOAT when you have a 60% championship.
Well, that's
loss.
why I don't like Durant, because Durant is a king of ring chasers.
Did Durant get a ring?
Yeah, with the Golden State.
He got one with Golden State.
Oh, okay.
That's right. They were trying to say Durant to the Timberwolves. I'm like, hell fucking no.
Yeah, he's like I said,
yes. Okay.
I do not want him in Minnesota.
Yeah, he won 2 rings with the Warriors, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he won it with the Warriors in 2018.
Well, I think he won 2 with the Warriors. I think he won that year that he didn't play any. That he was hurt. I think he played like 13 or 14 games that year. Yeah, so I don't know.
But yeah, Bronny is so horrible. I'm just like, how can you put this like out there? All his shots were like bricks. That's how bad it was.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe Bronny should find another profession.
They're also. I mean, if you take any other person who played like he did in college, they would not have been drafted.
And if he had that kind of showing in preseason, they would have loved his ass in whatever city.
Well, it's funny that they were talking about other teams, like the Lakers were saying, "Oh, don't draft Bronny because this or that and the third." And they talked. I remember listening to the NBA channel on Sirius XM, and they talked to like another team's GM anonymously about Bronny, and they're like, he's like, I don't even know why they threw that out there. It wasn't like anybody else was going to draft him. Yeah, sign him as an unrestricted free agent, bring him to training camp, invitee, sure. But they're not they were not going to waste a pick on Bronny James. So the Lakers coming out and saying nobody else better take him. That he's like, that was just an idle threat. He's like, we didn't even have him on our board.
Oh, Jesus.
So
I think the only way a team would draft him is to trade him as bait.
Yeah, that I believe.
Bait to the Lakers, yeah.
Yeah, but they were like, nah, not worth it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, though, to where if you know somebody in the right spot, you don't even have to be good. They'll take you.
You know what? I played semi-pro ball. I played with a lot of guys that played in the NFL, and they told me the same thing. There's a lot of politics involved. There are guys on NFL rosters that have no business there, but it's who they know.
Yeah.
And that's how they get the gigs. And they will cut a good player who busts his ass for that player that they know.
Yeah, I think
there's this player on in the G League for the Lakers, and he's like busting his butt off, and he doesn't even have a spot on the roster like Bronny.
I just think that was LeBron James wanted his son to get money, what the guaranteed contract. I think that's all that was about. I just can't believe they'd give him a guaranteed contract.
Well, but see,
he's
what's
not
sad
good.
is like they'll have like a 2-minute highlight reel of Bronny's one fucking shot. Like, good fucking lord.
The only
And
one
then
who will do, and the only ones who will show that is friggin' ESPN.
what's pathetic is their actual number 1 draft pick is actually pretty good, but he doesn't get any of the highlights or anything.
You talking about Dalton Connect?
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's a shooter. He can definitely shoot better than Bronny.
He ain't shooting bricks.
God.
It is weird though. I mean, like if Michael Jordan's son played basketball, how much influence would he have? You know?
But see, Jordan had integrity for the game. He wanted his kids to earn it. So he wasn't going to force that shit on everybody.
So,
Yeah.
from what I remember, what's his name ruined his kid's career in college in football. I think Diddy's kid, he ruined his football career, especially when he beat up the damn assistant coach.
Did he?
Yeah, Diddy did. He hit the coach with the weight. He got into it with one of the assistant coaches and fucked. I forget which kid it was that was playing at UCLA, but yeah, he's
It's bad.
Well, I know Suit Dog kids played too.
Yeah,
But
he didn't want to play football though.
yeah,
He said
I don't think he ruined his kid's career. Though.
he didn't ruin it. Diddy ruined his kid's career because I guess the kid was pretty good. I forget which one it is. It might have been Quincy, the oldest, I guess. Put it this way, the one that ain't Diddy's kid, which I think is the one that's Albie Schur's. I think. Oh, George, you're thinking of Todd Marinovich. Yeah, Todd Marinovich had the problem, the drug issues, and he was hyped up. He went to USC.
Well, I kind of don't blame him though.
Who?
With the way his dad treated him,
Who?
Marinovich.
Oh yeah, Marv was a jerk.
Yeah,
Marv was just a complete and total asshole. But Todd he went to USC, the Golden Boy, and I think the Raiders drafted him number 1. And his dad played in the NFL too. That's why his dad was such a jerk. But he really pushed Todd, and Todd just got to the point where he's like, I don't want to do this.
yeah, he made it unfun to play.
Yeah. You know, a lot of parents will kill a kid's kid will be good at something, but the parent will kill the desire to do it because they're pushed. You know?
Yeah, his dad was a jerk.
I think his dad was a Raider too. That's why it was such a.
Hey, Carrie, you need to go out?
You know,
Well, and the thing was, LeBron was tweeting out dumb tweets like, Ronnie is better than half these cats in the league. You know?
who said that?
LeBron.
That's why half the league don't like LeBron.
I have no respect for him at all. I can't stand him.
I don't. There's not too many NBA players that actually like LeBron. I mean, they respect him, but they don't really care for him. Well, he's now to the point where he's dictating everything, you know. And is AD still in LA?
Yep. Well, yeah, and now it's like it's so toxic in LA that no teams. That's right. They couldn't sign any free agents because no teams wanted to deal with them.
Nobody wants to go to LA and play with them. Yeah, nobody. I mean, that tells you right there. If you can pay top dollar for a free agent and they still don't want to come to your team because of one player, the problem's the one player.
Yeah, but, like Klay Thompson. His dad works for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose the Mavericks.
Oh, Michael's playing. Michael works for the Lakers.
Yep.
Yeah, he went to University of Minnesota.
Yep. He chose the Lakers. Wanted him, and he chose Dallas.
It doesn't have to be around. It's
because they don't want to deal with that shit of if they win, that it's all LeBron. If they lose, it's everybody but LeBron.
yeah, that's just bullshit. But you know what? The Lakers have probably set their franchise back a few years by doing this.
Oh yeah, they did. I mean, because they got rid of a lot of players. They traded a lot of players just to appease LeBron.
Who's their coach?
JJ Redick.
Because he's the only one that would put up with LeBron, isn't he?
He's the yes man. Why do you think Bronny is getting all these minutes in preseason?
Yeah, that type of shit. That's bullshit.
And he got the coaching gig. Why? Because he did a podcast with LeBron. Good Lord. Can you talk about dysfunction? How the Lakers have fallen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like the Timberwolves.
I mean, yeah, the Lakers got championships, but guess what? Some of them championships are here in Minneapolis. You know, they got quite a few when they were in LA, but a lot of they got a lot of championships from Minneapolis too. So
inside now. Come on. No, come on. Inside.
I mean,
Gary.
There's a whole story. I think it's on YouTube as to how Minneapolis lost the Lakers.
Gary.
The Viking owner has something to do with that too, because he was part owner of the Lakers.
Come here.
Max Winter, but I have to watch the video. But hell, the Minneapolis didn't get another NBA team for another 30 years. They got
Gary, get in here now. Come on, now.
Someone's not listening to catch.
Get inside now.
Carrie's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrie's like, I'm the boss.
Yeah, you want me to come in? Come and get me.
JJ.
God, it's actually cold up here tonight. It's only 50.
Inside.
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be even colder.
Oh, so summer's over here, huh?
Yep. Tomorrow is supposed to be 9 degrees colder.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to Minnesota in October. Well, my birthday's in 2 weeks?
No.
Yeah. So usually there's snow by my birthday.
All right. No, God damn it! It's coming now. Inside.
That's a good idea, Gil. Maybe I will do one on the Lakers. Probably after the season. I got to do my research on what exactly happened with the Lakers. Everything that I've heard about the Lakers moving, I haven't looked into it. I have to do a deep dive. So that's probably going to be a day of research at the library, looking at old newspapers. But yeah, I need to see exactly how it went down. But I know that Max Winter had something to do with the Lakers moving, and a couple of other people did too. So I'll have to see what that was all about. I've always been curious, and I've heard like bits and pieces off and on about who was involved, but never did a deep dive into it. So
I'm surprised they never changed their name.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Inside now.
Yeah, they stayed the Lakers. I mean, when we got the Senators up here, we changed them to the Minnesota Twins. Well, you know what?
I don't care. You guys want to go out?
The Rams kept their name when they were in Cleveland to LA, so they kept Rams. Couple of other teams changed their names, but yeah, that I'm sure LA's got some lakes somewhere. But I've always been wondering what they were going to name the AFL team.
Peanut butter? Come.
No, the Lakers are their own entity. Those championships, Abe Breezy go with the team. So when the Lakers left, they took those championships with them because it was part of the team. Nothing the city can do about it. Yeah, Gil, there's always a rumor. Whenever the Vikings needed a new stadium, there was always a rumor that they were going to go to LA. They did it in the 70s, and they did it just recently before they got US Bank Stadium. But yeah, the Vikings moving to LA was always a hot topic. It was always out there. So, but yeah, I can't when it comes to LA, I can't think of any teams they have that are theirs, except maybe the Kings. And that's about it. Bob, the Chiefs keep their name because they are an NFL team. They're an entity. They're not a school or anything like that. They are a company. They're an LLC. So they get to keep the name Chiefs. The reason the Redskins, and we went through this before, the reason Redskins changed your name is because of they were going to have lawsuits. But the main thing was the Redskins were going to lose money from sponsors if they didn't change the name. And that was also because Daniel Snyder was a jerk. But yeah, the Chiefs got to change. They got to keep their name. And, Chief is Chief. Yeah, the Angels. You're right, Gil. They were the LA Angels. At one time, the famous cowboy Gene Autry, the actor, he owned the Angels at one time. So, yeah, as soon as McCombs got here, he was threatening to move the team. He was mostly going to move them to San Antonio because that's where he was from. And they had
Is he still alive?
They had the Alamo Dome. And so
Tony, is he still alive?
No, he
passed away.
Like 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah. But no way the NFL was going to let anybody move into Texas other than Houston because San Antonio was going to cut into Dallas's market. And Jerry Jones was not going to have that. So.
How old is Jerry?
81.
Yeah.
So he's still got anywhere between 1 and 19 years to live.
Who?
Jerry.
Yeah, knowing him will outlive us all. The Guardian Cleveland changed their name out of respect to the indigenous people. That's why they changed their name and changed it to Guardians. And plus the mascot they had, I mean, that mascot, if you look up the old mascot for the Indians, it was pretty bad. But that was one of the reasons they changed it. But yeah, it's always been.
You know what's not controversy? When you name your team after a freaking animal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hell, Seattle came up with Kraken. I mean, they came up, which is cool, but they came up with Kraken. It's like, wow. By the way, who plays hockey in Seattle?
They have a professional team?
Yeah, the Seattle Kraken.
Weird.
Yeah, they got a professional team. Yep, Vegas has a team, the Golden Knights. Seattle has a team, the Kraken.
Oh, they lost their basketball team though.
Yeah, that's the Oklahoma City Thunder now. Yep, that's the Oklahoma City. That's why there was the big fear that if Lori and A-Rod bought the Timberwolves, they were going to move the team to Seattle and call it just the Sonics, because Seattle wants another team and they want to call it the Supersonics.
They're probably going to get one anyway.
Yeah, they're going to get an expansion team.
Why did they move to Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City?
Uh-huh.
They got a new arena, the money.
Yeah,
Yep.
they rebuilt the OK Arena, and now it's the Climate Pledge Arena. It's where the Kraken. It's where the Kraken.
That's where they play hockey.
Play, yeah. So they use the same stadium for Seattle.
Now, is Utah going to call themselves just the Utah Hockey Club?
No, their name's coming out next year.
They have a professional team?
Yeah, they got Arizona's old team.
Yeah.
They got the Coyotes.
Arizona don't have a team anymore?
Nope. Coyotes now moved. The Coyotes are playing in Utah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Why?
Where did the Coyotes come from? Was that the original Winnipeg team? That was the original Winnipeg Jets.
Carolina Hurricane or the Hartford Whalers.
Okay.
Colorado Avalanche are the Quebec Nordiques.
That's right.
So there's no more hockey teams in Canada?
Oh no, they still got the Canadiens and the Flames and the Canucks and.
Well, they got the Maple Leafs, the Senators.
Yep, Maple
the
Leafs,
Flames,
Senators,
the Canucks, the Jets.
Oilers.
Yep, they're still there.
Although the Jets are having attendance issues, so
again.
Yep.
Wow. That's why they lost it.
They already play in the smallest arena in the NHL. I think
Winnipeg is
14,000.
Winnipeg is right above Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're talking about expanding too. So
NHL?
Yeah.
I bet they talking about going to southern states?
Is NHL really that popular?
Yes.
Yeah. Especially in Florida.
Where there's no ice.
Unless it's in your drink.
They when the Panthers are good, they sell out. Gotta keep in mind there's a lot of Northerners that live in Minnesota. Florida.
Carolina's another good team too.
Yeah.
Carolina Hurricane.
So I don't know where they're gonna put the team that
what is a Wild? What is the mascot?
It's a bear. It's a bear.
Up with why weren't we called the Minnesota Bears? Why is it called Wild? That makes no sense.
They had a bunch of other names that were better than Wild. I don't know why they came up with Wild.
Well, the original team name was the best.
They should have found a way to keep the North Stars.
No, the Wild logo is a bear.
No, the Wild logo is a bear, Breezy. It's a bear. Yeah, it's a bear.
Dallas's punk ass won't give us back the star.
Well, when Norm Green moved the team, he took the records and the colors and the name down to Dallas. He just got rid of the star. He just got rid of the North. And called
I don't think the NHL is going to allow a Stars team and a North Star team.
No, what the NHL should have did was, and Gary Bettman said this later, he made the mistake of letting the North Stars leave, and he shouldn't have. He admitted that later.
Who is he?
Gary Bettman was the NHL commissioner.
Yeah,
Well, one of the reasons that Norm Green moved the Stars was because he had lawsuits up here. For basically, he was Daniel Snyder of hockey. He was he was basically playing grab ass in the office with the
Well,
secretaries.
their stadium was awful though.
There was nothing wrong with Met Center. There is not a damn thing wrong with Met Center. Do you know how many concerts I saw there?
That doesn't mean that's a good hockey arena.
That place rocked. It was perfect for hocky. It was perfect.
How
The
many
Mighty- was
how many
the
luxury
Mighty
suites
Ducks?
did it have?
Huh?
How many luxury suites did it have?
It was built before the luxury. I think they were going to put luxury suites in, but it was built before that.
So I mean, that's what they care about.
Well, that was in the 90s.
And that's when they left.
Yeah, they left in end of 93. Yeah, and then when they tore down the old Civic Center, because XL is right where the Civic Center was in St. Paul, they had to make sure they had like luxury seats.
Yeah, that was sad to see them tear down the Civic Center.
Yeah, you know how many concerts I saw at that place? Holy shit. Between Met Center, First Avenue, and the Civic Center, I saw a lot of bands, a lot of concerts.
Did they have like WrestleMania or something at the Civic Center?
Oh, they used to have wrestling matches all the time.
Yeah,
at the
because I
Civic Center.
remember. Yeah, because I was like, I remember when we first immigrated here, and whatnot. Our sponsor or something, I can't remember, but took us to a wrestling match at the Civic Center.
When did you get up here?
80.
Yeah, you went to the old AWA. Yep, Vern Gagne. Hulk Hogan was here at that time.
Yeah.
Yep, Hulk Hogan was here. He had just got fired from New York. He was in WWF. They fired him. Greg Gagne and Vern Gagne signed him in the AWA, and he wrestled in the Twin Cities for like a couple of years. But yeah, the AWA was they basically owned the Civic Center. You know. But that was I saw a ton of concerts, wrestling matches. Friggin' when I was a kid, the circus was there.
Yep, I remember the circus too.
Yep, the high school tournaments were there. So I mean, when they tore down and built
tournaments now.
Yeah, when they tore down and built the new XL, they built that exclusively for the Wild.
Yeah, so where do the high school kids play now?
Sorry.
Hockey?
My dogs are being very bad.
That's
That's why my camera was off.
They have all those. They had the tournament, right? The state tournament, and all the schools would come downtown St. Paul.
They still do. They still do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they still do. The ones that they move around are the basketball tournament and the basketball tournament. And the football, the prep bowl is always at the Viking Stadium. So
Yeah, it's like I'm not from there, so I don't know all the stuff you guys are talking about. But
yeah, it's that's our venues. The Civic Center was great for concerts. So was
that the one that looked like kind of like a barn?
the one that, let's see, which one looks like a barn? The one that looks like a barn is like Williams Arena over on the U of M. XL is where they play hockey.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little. It almost looks like the Civic Center, kind of, sort of, but it's more modernized.
Was the Met? The Met was that like a metal ceiling?
Met Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what the Met Center was? It was kind of like a flat white building with pillars. It was just square. Yeah, and it was nothing fancy.
Is that where IKEA sits on?
That's where now they tore that down. They put an IKEA store on there.
Yeah.
That's where the old Met Center was. Who did I see? I saw the first time I saw Iron Maiden. I saw the Met Center. I saw Metallica Met Center. I saw Ozzy and Motley Crue. seen a lot of shows at Met Center. But Civic Center, I didn't live that far from Civic Center, so I could actually walk to the shows and walk home.
Because I remember seeing, like, I never been there, but I saw pictures of the Met Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why the North Stars wanted a new arena.
Well, they also, and then what happened was Minneapolis tried to get in the act. Well, Minneapolis was going to share Target Center. They wanted to bring the North Stars to Target Center, but Norm Green wanted his own arena. He didn't want to share profits or pay rent with another pro sports team. So,
Who owns the Target Center and Target Field then? The city does?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like the, like the U.S. Bank Stadium. The city owned it until the bond was paid off, and the bond was for the Vikings is paid off. So now the Vikings
own it outright.
The Vikings own it. So so if the Twins did the same thing with the Target Field, they paid off the bonds. The Twins would own it, but they haven't paid off the bonds yet.
They haven't
Same
paid off
thing.
the bond.
Yeah.
And the Vikings were lucky because, well, the Vikings had a lot of help. They got the gambling money, the electric pull tabs, and it's already paid off. And so now the Wilfs, whatever money's coming in, they're pocketing that money.
Which makes the franchise even more valuable.
Even more valuable. The funny thing was we were supposed to get a WrestleMania at US Bank next year, but WWE changed it and they went to Las Vegas and they made US Bank a SummerSlam in 2 years. But you're going to make it a 2-night thing. You're not going to sell that place out in 2 nights.
Is SummerSlam not as big as WrestleMania?
It is for the summer, but it also depends on who's on the card. I mean, if you don't have anybody on that card worth seeing, nobody's going to shell out that much money. And then for both nights, it's going to be an arm and a leg.
Is that a pay-per-view thing on TV?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They would have had a WrestleMania up here years ago. Vince McMahon screwed that up by bragging about he was going to have a WrestleMania at the new Viking Stadium. Only problem was he didn't talk about it with the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Commission, so they told him to pump his brakes. And they weren't going to give him a WrestleMania there until the stadium was paid off.
Did they still control the U.S. Bank Stadium up until the Wilfs paid off the bond?
I think so.
Because I haven't heard that name in a while.
I think they did until the Wilfs bought it. Now I think the Wilfs get most of the money, which probably explains why the stadium is fully booked year-round. I mean, they just had Metallica there for 2 nights.
Well, Metallica opened the stadium too.
Yeah, they had Metallica there with Pantera. And the next night, I forget who it was, but Metallica played 2 nights. They've had Poison, Def Leppard. They had Motley Crue there. Had a couple of country concerts. So there's always something going on at US Bank Stadium. Not to mention, they still get the college football. They get college football games. They get the high school football games. So it's always busy. They even got baseball. They even play baseball there in the spring.
What's set up for it?
It's
weird.
It's the setup for baseball is completely like, you look at it and you're just like, oh my God, it's janky as hell. That's all I'm gonna say.
It was
Why
like
don't they play baseball at Target Field then? That's
they don't play there. Well, first of all, because when they start playing baseball, some of the colleges, there's snow still on the ground.
yeah, the college baseball season starts in February.
Yeah.
holy cow! Seriously?
Yeah, so
Oh,
they're playing indoors. I mean, the Twins start. I mean, because hell, it snows in Minnesota up until the end of April.
That's usually why the Twins don't have a home opener. That's usually why the Twins start the season on the road.
Yep. So it's, but then I don't know I don't know. I think the Twins do let like the high schools later in the year use their field. I think they do. I'm not sure. But plus we got a soccer stadium in St. Paul, brand new.
It's a nice stadium. Have you
Yeah,
been inside it?
it's a brand new
Is that where
stadium.
United play?
Yeah, that's where the United play. It's a nice stadium.
Yep.
It is nice. It's got that whole European feel to it. It looks like the stadium we played in Sunday, the Vikings, Tottenham. It almost looks like that.
Like a smaller version of it.
Yeah, a smaller version. You can't miss it. It's got a big loon outside of it. So,
And I think like I like how they built all those stadiums, so it's all on the light rail.
yeah, that's what they want everything to be connected to the light rail, so it's easier to get to.
Yeah.
That's how they want it. Which is fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Except for the Wild, the light rail lets you off like 4 or 5 blocks away from the arena.
Yeah.
So that's, but they built the light rail around that. It was stadium that was already up, but the Twin Stadium is at the end of the light rail. The Vikings are in the middle. The Gophers are on the way.
And then the United is on the way too.
United is on the way too, so you don't even have to drive to any of the.
You used to have a scooter everywhere.
And there are people that do that too. We got those little scooters here. People are using.
I did the whole time I was there.
Scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those things are perfect to get around on. So yeah, I mean everything's convenient. They try to make everything in Minneapolis. They probably were better off building a stadium in Bloomington because there was more parking, but they just wanted everything to be in, the Twin Cities instead of on the
It's
outside.
amazing. I watched a time lapse video on YouTube the other day about them tearing down Metrodome and putting up the US Bank Stadium. It's amazing that it's on the same footprint as the Metrodome.
The same land?
Yeah, with how much bigger it is.
I know. Well, that from the way it stretches out, there was a big parking lot where the Metrodome was. That's all now covered by stadium. You got a smaller parking lot, but
I hardly remember it anymore. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
still-
like I
yeah.
mean, it's like one day the Metrodome was there, and then one day it just wasn't anymore.
I don't think too many people cared it was gone.
I tore my Achilles in there. I wanted to press the
Stop.
button to blow it up. I wanted it gone.
No, but I'm
Don't
just
miss
saying,
it.
like it's like even though it was there for so long, it's like part of my memory now. It's like I don't remember much about it anymore. Like it's just
It got, you know what? The funny thing was, it was outdated probably 5 or 6 years after it was built. It was already outdated. When they
Yeah, it was built on the cheap.
when they finally got the Super Bowl here, it was outdated as far as stadiums go. And the state fought for the longest time to not build a stadium. They fought it and fought it and fought it. And I was like, just build the damn stadium.
I remember watching the hearings on it.
Oh God, yes. I remember watching.
It was like, why? I mean, some of the arguments against the stadium were just dumb.
They were pulling teeth. It's like pulling teeth.
But yeah, I get it. You want the money, you want the public, you want the public money to go someplace else. I get it. But just think of all the stuff that professional franchises bring to a city, all the charity stuff,
Just think of the jobs it'll create.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that. They just haggled over stupid shit. And the NFL told them, okay, fine. Guess what? Vikings move. Sure, we'll get you another team. Guess what you got to do?
Yeah.
Still got to build a stadium.
And LA didn't have teams at this time.
No.
The Rams would probably still be in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Who knows what the charges would be?
And yeah, and then if the Rams had stayed in St. Louis, there wouldn't have been that lawsuit against Kansas, and then they wouldn't have been a dynasty.
Well, the Rams should never have went to St. Louis.
Huh?
The Rams should never have went to St. Louis. The only reason they did was because, get this, the owner of the Rams, Georgia Frontier, couldn't get a stadium. She didn't want to play in Anaheim anymore. She wanted a new stadium. Her hometown was St. Louis. So she just packed up the team and moved them to St. Louis, and she ended up getting a stadium, which ended up being the TWA Dome. She got a dome stadium, which that thing was outdated.
Yeah.
As soon as they won the Super Bowl, that stadium was outdated.
What happened to TWA?
It's still there.
It's Edward Jones Stadium.
The
No, I mean,
Battlehawks.
that
The
airline,
Battlehawks
like,
use it for their.
Did they get bought out, or did they just run?
The UFL team plays there.
Yeah,
No. I mean, because wasn't there a TWA airline?
Yeah, they went belly up.
Yeah, just like Northwest,
Just like Northwest, they went belly up.
where the Vikings practice
That's where
facility
the
is
Vikings
now.
practice facility is. And that looks completely different from what it was when Northwest was there.
Sure
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, Edward Jones is an insurance company or something like that. The Battlehawks play there now, but they moved it. I mean, Kroenke bought the team. He moved it back to LA, and I think that was at the NFL's urging, just to put football back in the second biggest TV market. Here was a kicker, though. LA was not going to build a stadium with public money, so Kroenke had to pay for that money out of his own pocket, and he did.
Yep.
That's how rich he is, huh?
Yeah. And
I'll tell you, 90% of professional sports owners could build their own stadium.
right.
The thing about it is the reason most of them don't is because even though they put 100% of their money into the stadium, they build it themselves. The city still wants a cut of what they make.
Yeah,
And-
basically you're paying for the land.
Yeah, so that's why the LA thing was different, because Kroenke, he built that stadium, and the city's like, we'll just do the taxes. We won't take any of the game day stuff. A lot of cities, because I remember when they were talking about the Viking stadium, is that these people wanted the Wolves to pay for it, and they also wanted part of the profits from the stadium to go to the city. So you're not going to get an owner to pay 100% for a stadium and not get 100% of the revenue.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. You're in fantasy land if you think that's going to happen. So that's why a lot of NFL owners, a lot of professional sports owners don't build their own stadiums, because the city doesn't give them the agreement that Kroenke got in LA.
You don't get the agreement that you want. And the Vikings, now here's where the Wilfs were smart. They worked out an agreement with Minneapolis. So Minneapolis put public money in. Somebody wants attention.
He has been aggravating.
And the Wilfs basically put in a little bit here and there. So they put in more and more money. So the Wilfs put in a ton of money for that stadium.
Yeah.
So
They put in more than they really originally wanted to.
Right. So, and now here's the thing with Kroenke. The fact that the NFL talked the Chargers into moving to LA and playing in the stadium, SoFi, the Chargers are paying rent to Kroenke.
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like San Diego was going to build the Chargers a stadium.
I thought they were. They had talked about somewhere down by downtown, not far from where the baseball
I
stadium
wonder
is.
now if the Chargers said, hey, we want to go back to San Diego, if San Diego would be more successful. Because LA is not really a pro town when it comes to football. They're more of a college town.
LA's not a football town because LA hadn't had football for how many years?
Right. And we see people in San Diego like the Chargers.
They love the Chargers.
Yeah, so like when the Chargers were playing in San Diego, there was playing a home game. It was actually a home game. It was actually mostly their fans. You know, I'm
Even
not sure how far the drive is from San Diego to LA. I think it's like, hours, but people
Well,
from
and
San
here's the thing
Diego.
too. With the Chargers, even when they played it at soccer stadium, their fans were outnumbered by the out of town fans.
Yeah,
And
I remember when the Vikings played the Chargers at that soccer stadium.
It was mostly Vikings.
It was a Vikings home game.
It was a Vikings home game.
Yeah,
And then even when they played the Chargers at the Rams stadium, it was still a Vikings home
yeah.
game.
Well, when the Vikings play the Rams at the Rams stadium, it's the Vikings home game.
Yep.
There are more Rams fans than Chargers fans in LA, but I think if the Raiders would have went back, it would definitely not be the same situation it is with the Rams and the
Most of your because we're old enough to remember when they moved, but a lot of the younger, like those that were behind us, those that grew up in the 90s, the Raiders were in LA.
Yeah. The Rams were there as well.
Right?
The Rams were there as well. Yeah, the Rams were there as well. At the same time, the Raiders were. Yep. But the Raiders were definitely the number one team.
The Raiders, here's the thing. Both teams were in LA, but the Raiders were really the only team that was in LA because they played in the Coliseum. The Rams played in Anaheim.
Yeah, they played at the Angel Stadium.
They played at the Angel Stadium.
Yeah.
So the LA Raiders were actually the LA Raiders, and they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In LA.
When they beat the Redskins in 83.
When they beat the Redskins. So, I mean.
So complicated. Damn.
That's California for it.
It's,
Yeah, keep in mind, the Raiders played in the same stadium that the A's.
Yeah, they all played in Oakland Alameda.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all used to be Oakland whatever, right?
Yep, Oakland
Alameda. That stadium in Oakland is so bad. The Coliseum in Oakland is so bad.
But you had both the A's, and here's the funny part. The A's won World Series in that stadium, and the Raiders won a couple of Super Bowls in that stadium. What happened was when the Rams announced they were moving to Anaheim, that was Carroll Rosenblum, who owned the Rams at the time. When he announced he was moving the team to Anaheim, which is a suburb of LA, the city of LA was not going to have a pro team. So who jumped at it right away? Al Davis. He jumped at it to move the Raiders out of Oakland into LA. He went to court for it.
Yeah.
And he went to court with Pete Rozelle and he won.
Stop.
Oh, so the Raiders were in Oakland and then they moved to LA.
And then they moved back to Oakland.
And then they moved back to Oakland.
Oh, that's dumb.
Well, they would have stayed in LA if they got a new stadium. They would have stayed.
He wanted a new stadium. Al Davis wanted a new stadium, and Oakland promised him a stadium, and they never delivered. Well, Al died too. But I mean, the Raiders were not a very good team. Then they went to the Super Bowl in 2002, but after that, they were kind of just a middle of the road team.
You guys, what if we have a Chiefs Vikings Super Bowl rematch?
With who? The Chiefs?
Yeah.
Well, we owe them. We owe them.
Yeah.
And the shoe would be on the other foot. The Chiefs would be the heavy favorites this time.
Because I think if we get
the Vikings, we just need to matriculate the ball down the field.
If we get the number one seed, I don't see how we would lose a playoff game.
If the Vikings are the number one seed, keep in mind they haven't been the number one seed since '98. Yeah. So if the Vikings are the number one seed, I don't see them losing at home.
No, and they're going to get shit on again because they are the number one seed. Nobody's going to have faith in them. But guess what? We don't have that albatross around our neck at quarterback this time.
Word.
So it's going to be different, and we got a different defense. We don't have Donatel's soft as a marshmallow defense. relying on them. I mean, anything this year, I mean, I was optimistic before the season started. Win, lose, or draw, I was optimistic. But starting 5-0,
Well, and you know what I noticed? The only two teams that are 5-0 are the only two teams that play their starters during the preseason.
that's true. That is true. Yeah, the Chiefs do get help with the Chiefs do have help from the refs. That's going to be a problem. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, if it is Minnesota and Kansas City, then that's just fate. I'm just gonna chalk it up to fate. And like I said, we owe the Chiefs. We owe the Chiefs.
Because, like, seriously, like, we already got through the allegedly hard part of our schedule. So I'm not saying we're going undefeated, but I think we have a high chance of getting the number
Okay.
1 seed.
Yeah.
Well, I say I got a phone call coming. My wife is calling, so let's do.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and since we're on the bye week, we went through the schedule earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I say at the worst, 13-4. Now, is that good enough to be home field advantage? I don't know.
In the NFC, yeah.
I
So
think
I
our
say-
losses are going to come from our division games.
So,
With our
what's
division.
your final prediction for the record, Sarah?
Like I said, I think our losses are going to come from our divisions because we're going to beat up on each other and we're going to split. So it's going to be 13-4.
Okay.
Okay.
I think 13-4 is the worst we get. I think one of the losses is going to be the last game of the season because the Vikings are going to have whatever they have locked up. So that's going to be a loss.
They're going to play their backups. Okay.
Yeah.
At worst, I'm going to say Minnesota hits a lull. At worst, 10-7. Best, 14-3.
See, I think the best possible is 16-1.
I know. Looking at the schedule, I don't see a loss when I'm just playing my averages.
Right. Well, like I said, I think the only loss I'm going to pick them to win every game the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But the only game I see them truly maybe losing would be if they win Sunday, which I think they will. But if they win this Sunday next week, the only game I really can see them losing, unless Sam Darnold gets hurt, this is barring injuries and stuff like that. This is like Sam Darnold playing above average football because that's all this team needs. So no injuries to the quarterback position at all. 16-1 best, 13-4 at the worst.
Because
They could lose to the Lions and still go 13-4.
I'm tell you what, they beat the Lions. And like I said, I'm going to keep my prediction the way it is. They beat the Lions, they win the division.
Yeah.
They win the division. Bob, the North, if they beat the Lions, the North is locked up by Thanksgiving for the Vikings.
I don't know because their last 2 games of the year are division games.
Yeah,
So
but that's the end of the
Lions,
year.
keep in mind though, the Lions could only have 3 losses.
But they'll still be chasing the Vikings.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they may not have the division locked up by Thanksgiving.
I think they do. I think the Lions.
Because, right now
I can tell you right now, 2016 ain't happening. By the way, some of these experts are saying, "Well, they did start 5-0, 2016. Their bye week was the same week, and they went 8-8." That ain't happening.
That's not happening. It's a
That ain't
different
happening.
mindset, different team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's also the same? 1998. We had a bye week the same week as this week. We had the same
Right, and then they won coming out of the bye, and then they lost to Tampa, and that was the only loss.
But here's the one thing though. We don't have Zimmer as a coach.
Right.
We don't have the drama we had in 2016 behind the scenes.
And
There was a lot of drama with that team.
KOC has proven that we're defending KOC,
Yeah, what the hell has happened?
his culture is way different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to have concerns of running back, D tackle, O line.
I don't know. I think Aaron Jones plays against the Lions.
And
he may play against the Lions. He may not be 100%,
Mhm.
but I think him being out there would be enough to affect the Lions defense. And he just may come back, play that one game, and then who knows? He may not play the next couple weeks.
You're going to have a weapon back in TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah. I don't think defensive tackle is an issue. I think Harrison Phillips is playing out of his mind.
Phillips is playing some good ball. That deep line is actually playing pretty good ball.
Terry, they're all playing pretty
Tillery,
good.
Bullard, and when you bring in Taimani, they'll probably bring up Levi now.
Yeah.
So I can see the D line is okay. We just got to stay healthy.
Yep.
We're going to have nicks and bruises, but we can't have any type of long-term injuries to start.
Yeah, any long-term. I think the Vikings had enough long-term injuries last year.
Right.
Hopefully they get a reprieve.
Now, here's where the offensive line comes into play. Dalton Reisner does come back. I can see him splitting time at right guard with Ed Ingram. But the problem is Dalton Reisner is not the best run blocker.
Yeah.
He's a better pass blocker. Ed, just his game's kind of, I don't know. Ed is Ed.
It is what it is.
Ed is like flip a coin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't get in. Well, I'm not
gonna stay there till I feel like
wrong button. Sorry.
You could get, yeah, sure. Cut me off there, Cash.
Ed is like when you think he's going to do good, he does bad. And when you think he's going to do bad, he does good.
Yeah. And going into the, down the stretch, you're going to probably need that guard that's kind of a swing guard, even for Brandel. And if you've got Reisner playing both positions, that helps too. But yeah, worse 10-7. I'll stick with that.
Okay.
The best 14-3.
Yeah, I say best 16-1, worst 13-4. Sarah, before we go.
Yeah, I'm sticking with 13-4 and probably 15-2 because I think we might be able to sweep the Bears and the Packers.
And like the last game of the season against the Lions in like a random unexpected loss, right?
I think that last game, depending on how we're doing, regardless if we're going to the playoffs, you're going to see the backups play.
But here's the thing, though. If the Vikings are undefeated going into that game, they're going to have the number one seed locked out. So they're going to get the bye anyway.
Right.
Do they play that game to try to go undefeated?
I think you play that game. I think you just play it to be healthy. I don't think they care about the record. I don't think KLC cares about the record.
No,
he wants to go into the playoffs healthy. So, and you give your backups a chance to shine. And I think that's only fair.
Yep. So basically, we want to thank you guys for joining us again on this Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Tony was not feeling well last Wednesday. That's why the Vikings vintage wasn't there. But we will do Vikings vintage this Wednesday. Is the Lions Vikings rivalry. We talk history on that. Plus, I think just kind of talked about the Vikings.
There's such a thing as a rivalry between us and the Lions.
Well, I didn't say rivalry. I just said the history.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was ass kicking.
Well, the Lions don't have rivals.
The Lions don't have any rivals.
Yeah. They have division opponents.
Yeah.
That pissed the Lions fan off when I told him that. So, and then next Friday, we'll also have the free-for-all as usual. Maybe we'll have some Lions fans on. I don't know. And then, of course, Sunday was the live stream of the game to play by play. So we want to thank everybody for joining us. It was a great show again. And we will see you guys. Wednesday.
I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe